Welcome back to our episode. Ryan here with Chaos MMA. Today we have on Johnny Munoz, who fights November 5th. Johnny, man, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Just finished up a training session right now, so feel good.
And how did that training session go? Everything feeling good? You feel prepared and everything else?
I feel good, man. Prepared in the moment, fluid, loose, and yeah, just feel real good. Not thinking so much, what I mean, just letting the body react on its own.
Yeah, and is that kind of the best thing to do in training? Not thinking about like the fight too much, not thinking about your opponent, and just like focusing on being good in training. Is that kind of the best thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think about your opponent, obviously,
Yeah.
think about the fight, but also you don't want to overthink it. You know what I mean? It's like weird. Like fighting is like a weird philosophy. Like it goes in a circle. Like some people like you want to study, you want to know what the guy's doing, but at the same time you got to look at it like a game in a way. I mean, don't take it so serious. Sometimes when you take it so serious, it could be the end of your demise. But when you have fun with it and you kind of put yourself into the video game, you know what I mean? Once you put yourself in the video game, it's chaos and fun, and that's how it should be, even though it's serious business. But you got to think of it that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, last week I saw you posted the less than 5 weeks post away to the fight. Here we are about 4 weeks now. Now, when you post something like that and it's getting that close, does that even make you more excited for the fight? Like, man, it's really getting here. Like, it's almost time to go out there and put on a show.
Nah, for sure, man. Like I'm super excited. I can't wait to fight. This fight is one of the most I've been excited for in a while. You know what I mean? So I'm very excited for this fight, and I'm just excited to be locked in the cage. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like when I'm in the cage, I'm free. It's like freedom in there for me, and I feel like I could really enjoy the moment in there, and that's the most important thing. I'm gonna win the fight. I see it in my head, but the main thing for me is like being in the moment and being present. I feel like when you're in the moment and the present, it's everything. I feel everything just it's way more fun.
Yeah, well, here we are, about 4 weeks away from the fight. It seems like you're so excited. And I wanted to ask you though, how has training camp been going? Training went good today, you said, but for like all the other weeks, how has training camp been going so far?
No, it's been good, man. I mean, I know that's probably cliche. Everyone's, oh, it's like the best camp ever,
Yeah.
but no, it's been good. Training camp. I'm gonna be real with you. I mean, you get your good days, you get your bad days. But I think you need a little bit of both. You know what I mean? So you just have nothing but good days. I feel it's not honest work. So you need to have the bad days where the coaches are on your ass, or maybe you got fucking tagged up in sparring. You know what I mean? Where you shouldn't have got hit. But I think you need both those days. Just to blend up, and I think it gives you the better results, so you're able to think, okay, I need to do this, and then come fight day you're going to be razor sharp.
Yeah, can you talk about that more? Because I was always curious, like with the bad days in training, like the next day, do you just go in and be like, yeah, I had a bad day yesterday, but time to move on. Let's have a better day today. Is that kind of how you proceed from a bad day in training? Like, can you talk more about that?
Yeah, I mean you probably sit there and think about, okay, what went wrong. At least it's what I do. It's like you got to sit there and dissect everything. You know what I mean? Okay, this went wrong. Okay, why did it go wrong? Okay, I need to do this so that doesn't happen again, and boom, that's what you're going to do the next day. Or you know what I mean? And that's how you should. You don't want to just, oh, it was a bad day, fuck it, I'm going to move on. Okay, that's what most people do, but I think the intelligent, strategic way is to, okay, why did it go wrong? Really sit there and focus why it went wrong, and then so you can fix those mistakes, and then boom, next training session, whatever you worked on, implement that. Okay, and then okay, now it worked out. I solved out why, so I need to do more of this.
Yeah, I mean, you fix the mistakes, you get better in training. Seems like it's going well. And speaking of this training camp, have you been training with anyone specific for this one to prepare you for the style of your opponent, or who has it been mostly for?
I mean, I train with a lot of guys, but I mean, guys I always train with, like Alan Martinez, my cousin, Brandon Moreno, Marcelo Rojo has been very helpful. Down in TJ, been getting a lot of work in with Santiago Prieto, Juan Diaz, Molo Gonzalez. Like those guys been helping me a lot. Really focused, you know what I mean, for the fight.
And does it help training with like a champ like Brandon Moreno because he's been in the sport for so long? He's been at the lowest of lows, getting cut from the UFC and the highest of highs with the champ. So has that helped training with someone like that?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's he's a good person to be around. He's been at the lowest of the lows, highest of the highest, and I feel like he's a true story. Like where, I mean, if you're not happy where you're at in your career, I mean, you look at that guy, and that guy turned it all around. You know what I mean? And so I think it comes down to belief and not giving up on yourself. Because when you think it's all coming down to an end, it's like, no, it's not coming to an end. That's just the beginning. So that's how you got to look at it. When you think shit's just all falling apart, it's like, okay, this is the beginning. It's not the end.
Yeah, one of the best stories in MMA with Brandon Moreno. It's so inspiring to see his story and everything else. And I got to ask you your prediction, though, for your fight. I always ask my people that come on, Johnny wins by blank on November 5th. How do you see yourself getting your hand raised on the date?
Yeah, man, I see myself just really being in the moment and painting art. You know, I mean, I'm going to paint a masterpiece in there. So whether that be by knockout submission, if we go to the ground, I'm subbing this guy for sure. You know, I mean, if we go on the feet, I'm going to knock him out. Or, you know, if, you know, he's a zombie, he walks forward, a lot of pressure. He's never been finished. So, but I can see myself like putting him out. But if not, you know, I'm just going to keep beating him up and winning by every second. You know, I mean, whether this is a 1 second fight or a 15-minute 3-rounder, it doesn't matter. My hand's getting raised at the end. But the main thing for me is I'm really focused on just implementing my game plan. That's what I want to do. That's what's going to make me happy. You know what I mean? Implementing my game plan and being able to do what I do best.
Yeah, and did you see anything from his fight with Jack Shore that's going to help with your game plan? Like, did you see anything specific in that fight that you're like, oh, I can go out there and capitalize on this?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few things. I don't want to give it away,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I've seen quite a few things. I mean, he's a tough guy, but I feel like he's very predictable. You know what I mean? And the things that he does. And I feel like his biggest strength is just walking forward like a zombie. But it's like, you know, I play a lot of Call of Duties. You know, I played zombies. You know what I mean? You just run around the circle, shoot them, and they fall. So if I have to do that, I'll do that.
Yeah, well, it seems like you're prepared to go do that. It seems like you're prepared for any way this fight's going to go on the date. And you go out there, you win this fight. What do you think would be next for you? Do you want to be on like a big pay-per-view next? I know December, I don't know if that's too early for you to return, but January, February, they got big pay-per-views. What is it? What are you looking at next after this fight?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't like to look past the fight,
Yeah.
but obviously, I want to fight on a numbered card would be perfect, a pay-per-view, or even if it's a fight night with a crowd, a live arena. You know, I want to be my next fight. Give me in an arena with the crowd, you know, sold out, everything. So that's where I want to do next. Because I feel like there's nothing better than fighting in front of a crowd.
And how would you feel about, maybe like one day fighting on the same card as Moreno or some card in like Mexico? How do you feel about something like that?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. If I could do that, that'd be cool. You know, I feel like UFC could be back in Mexico maybe next year. You know, Brandon wins in January, and I feel like maybe late next year it could be in Mexico. I'd love to be a part of that card. I feel like, you know, it'd be great to be on that card with Brandon. We have a good fight camp, and I feel like I like being around him training, and it'd be awesome to fight in Mexico, home soil. You know.
Yeah, it seems like the UFC, I know Dana's talked about going back to Mexico. It seems like that's a big possibility coming up. Can't wait for your fight. Tune in November 5th. Going to be a great fight. And last thing here, man, a little segment I do at the end of the interview. Just ask you a quick question, and whatever comes to your mind first, you answer. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. Favorite food?
Tacos.
Tacos. Okay. Favorite movie?
Batman.
Um,
Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, can't go wrong on that one. That's a great one. Favorite hobby?
Reading.
Reading. Okay, interesting. Favorite candy?
Snickers.
Favorite fight by yourself?
What do you mean? Favorite
Like
fight?
like your own fight, like your own fight, like
Well,
in the
then I would.
UFC. Yeah, in the UFC. Yeah.
Wait, like who would I want to fight or?
No, like, or my bad. I worded the question wrong. My bad. Like your favorite own personal fight, and like all your MMA fights. Like, what was your favorite one?
That I was in, right?
Yeah, that you were in.
I don't know. Maybe my second UFC fight with Jamie Simmons, that was cool. But also my fight in King of the Cage that went 5 rounds. That was real cool. That was a good experience.
Yeah, and last two things here. Favorite UFC fighter growing up?
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, crazy how he grows and everything. And last one, MMA GOAT.
MMA GOAT. GSP.
GSP. Okay, good one too. And once again, man, thanks again for your time. I really do appreciate it. If you want to thank any sponsors, shout out any social media, man, the floor is yours.
No, just thanks for having me on the show, bro. And I just want to give a shout out to my team, Sequence, Entram Gym in Tijuana, the team out in Vegas, Brandon Moreno and the crew, all my sponsors. There's too many to name. And, you know, Iridium Sports, my management team. Thank you. And, yeah, it's going to be a show November 5th. Tune in. Aquí estamos, ustedes ya se lo saben.
Yeah, I can't wait, man. I'll be tuning in. Thanks again for your time. We'll catch up soon.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Have a good one.